What up? What up? It's your boy Kush. They call me Quentin, but today I'm saying Quinn. You hear me? I mean, I'm just at peace with myself, at peace with the world. Um, Thought I'd make a video today. Uh, One of our looks back on the past. Now, here's a disclaimer, or a PSA, or however you want to take it. When we reflect on the past, we don't get stuck there. Getting stuck on memories in the past can cause depression. And we don't want to be depressed. Reflecting on the past and seeing where we come from can help us figure out where we are and how we're going to get to where we want to be. You understand? So as we take this back, reflecting back into my life, just know I'm not going to get stuck there, and you shouldn't either. All right? So today's Just for the Day was about love. And as I look back on my life, there have been two major loves of my life. One is my God. Loved me before I knew how to love myself. Loved me more than I love myself. And unconditionally loved me. That's an agape love. That's a godly love. And I'm so thankful to have that love in my life, to teach me how to love myself and to love others as God loves the world. And that's majorly important, to give what so freely was given to me. And that was the love of Jesus Christ, which is my higher power. Like I said, I'm not forcing you to believe how I believe, but just as long as you have a higher power that you know loves you unconditionally, loves you enough to have had you breathe today, to wake you up, loves you enough to get to see this video and hopes that it helps. But the love I do want to talk about today is the love of my mom. She is the second love of my life, the second love after God that I ever known. She is a wonderful woman. And we was talking about my recovery, so I'm going to show you how my mom loved me throughout my recovery. So as a child, once I started doing drugs and using, alcohol was one of my most favorite drugs. Because it was just like normal, everybody was doing it, it was cool, get drunk, get dizzy, da da da. So I remember going out to a party at one of my friends' house. Her name's Nate. I went with a couple of my friends, and I got really drunk in Oak Grove. Got so drunk, I was having a good time. It was a pajama party. I had on some little cute pajamas. I was young, hot shit, So I'm getting drunk, and I don't know what happened, why it happened, but I remember walking outside and going to the parking lot, and that's all I remember. And I remember waking up the next day with my pajamas like ripped all on the side. Like the back area was still closed, which at that point in time, that's all I was really concerned about. I didn't really think about anybody touching me sexually in the front area, but that's all I was concerned about. I was like, is that fine? And I was fine or whatever, but I was embarrassed because I had them passed out in the front yard. I was confused. I was young. I was lost. I didn't know where I was. And the only person I knew to call other than on God was my mom. And I called her, and of course she was upset, but she didn't hesitate. She packed up the car with my cousins. She drove up to where I was. She met me. She picked me up. She got me something to eat. She took me home. Yeah, I got a stern talking to, because I had done, changed up some of the facts or whatever. But I still got a stern talking to about staying out and getting drunk. And I rolled my eyes at that time, but now looking back at it, I know that she came because she loved me. She would talk to me because she loved me. She helped me. She saved me because she loved me. I remember, fast forward, I had been in Houston, Texas for a while. And I was on my way out. And we stopped at this gas station from the megabus, one of the stops on the megabus. And I was in my active addiction, and I had began to come down off of like a long period of time of using. So I was on the bus, and I'm schizophrenic at this moment, and I don't even know it that I'm schizophrenic, but I'm schizo at this point. And I remember getting off the bus and going inside of the store to steal. And that's funny because I'm at a gas station now. But yeah, I remember going in there to go steal, and I stole a whole bunch of shit and got on the bus and put on the bus. And then myself said, but you didn't get nothing to drink. So I went back in, and I noticed a guy was watching me this time. So I took something to drink, put it in my jacket, and then I grabbed these Pringle chips. And hold on one second, I'm at work, so pause.
Let me have a Newport box.
The hundreds?
Nah, yeah. Give me the short.
For
I've
sure.
been smoking them bitch forever.
Yeah.
Let me have, you got some fire gravel?
Fire grabber, yeah.
Give me some salt. Give me another.
You need two of them? Yeah, so I took
How much
the
you were?
1060.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I took some Pringles because the guy was following me. He didn't see me with anything else. I took some Pringles. I opened the Pringles, started eating the Pringles around the store. Crazy. Insanity. Looking and asking for trouble. Long story short, the guy I left the chips in the store and went to the bus. The guy followed me with the chips, and he was like, hey, you didn't pay for these chips. Da, da, da. And I started cussing and yelling, classic addict behavior. Started cussing the man out and telling the man, oh, well, I ain't taking him out the store, so I ain't stealing. So the other lady, the manager, she came out of the store. She was like, oh, we're going to call the police on you. So this guy who was on the bus, he was like, hey, man, we're ready to go. If you want, I'll just pay for it. And I told him, man, classic addict behavior. If you buy those shit, well, classic Quentin behavior. I was just schizo at this point. I told the guy, if you buy them, I'm going to shake them around the store and scatter them all over the floor. Because I ain't steal shit. I'm innocent. And me. And so the guy paid for the chips, and sure enough, I took them and I shook them, but didn't know that this was a small town in Louisiana called Crowley, Louisiana. And it's like one of those small towns where everybody knows everybody. The local gas station clerk is related to the sheriff, who knows the girl who owns the diner for 50 years in her family, like that kind of town. And so they get there, and we're going to just call her Karen for the moment. She's like, hey, Karen, hey, what's going on? And this guy's causing havoc in the store, and da-da-da-da. So the lady comes over, and she pushed me on my shoulder. She's like, hey, what's wrong with you? And I fall back on the floor like in a death drop. And I'm like, oh, my God, this girl just pushed me. Oh, my God, this lady pushed me. I'm falling, and I can't get up. I'm some kind of shit like that. So everybody's just looking at me like... but I can't stop. I just can't stop. And the sheriff takes me They picked me up. They dragged me to the hospital. The doctor take one look at me, don't x-ray me or nothing. Just like, you're fine, get up and walk. And I'm like, I can't, I won't. So they pick me up. They take me to the cell. They throw me on the floor. They're like, get up, come take a picture. I'm like, I can't. I would not get up off the floor. So finally, when they went to go take my picture, they put me in one of these little things where you like, the thing holds you up so they take you a mug shot or whatever. And they throw me back on the floor. Like, I wouldn't even get up to use the bathroom. I literally pissed on the floor right there. Like, I would not get up. So finally the sheriff came. Like, I guess the head sheriff came, whoever he was. He came. He had the men come pick me up. They were video recording me. Like, oh, look at this dumb nigger. Oh, my God. Like, he's so stupid. We're going to kill him and stuff. And the sheriff goes to me in the middle of all that. He was like, listen, you got two options. You can leave now out of my town, or we can dump your body in the bayou and feed him to the gators. Your choice. And the look that he gave me when he looked into my eyes, he was not joking. Those people were not playing. They were really serious about me coming and disrupting their way of life. They're normal. They're not used to all of that, call it big city shenanigans that I was pulling in that town. So I got my ass up. And I was like, it's time for me to go. But what I didn't realize is that not only did I leave all those snacks and stuff on the bus, I left all my clothes, all my shoes, my wallet, my everything was there. I had no identification. I had no phone. I had nothing. So they had an ambulance take me from Crowley, Louisiana to Lafayette, Louisiana's hospital in Lafayette. When I got to the hospital, of course, they said I was dehydrated and I needed a little rest, but I couldn't rest there. So they told me they were going to discharge me. So as they discharged me, there's only one phone number I know. There's only one person I can call. And at this point in time, we hadn't been speaking for a while because of something I had done where I can't even remember. I was in my use of addiction or whatever. And I called her anyways. Called my mom, and she was sleeping. I woke her up. I told her I was hurt. She cried, and she sent me $100, and she brought me a ticket to come on. She didn't ask no questions. She didn't think twice. She didn't hesitate. She just wanted to make sure that I was safe and that I can get home and be okay. I can't imagine what that must have felt like for her, and I apologize for putting her through that. And that's not the only time that I've done that. Countless of times. I remember dressing up on drag on 79th Street. I'm out here to prostitute in drag. My mom had asked me to stop, but I wouldn't stop. I'm out here, I'm making money. This guy asked me to use my phone. I straddle his bicycle while he uses my phone, but he still tries to push away. When he pushes away, I start to fight him. We're fighting, we're rolling in the grass, and I reach in the grass because I'm on the floor. I reach in the grass and I pick up like a plastic bottle. I thought it was like a beer bottle, and I tried to hit him with the bottle, but then I realized it was plastic. I was like, what the fuck? And so he's like, oh, you want to hit me with some shit? This guy reaches in the grass and pulls out a whole cake pan. You know, like one of those oven cake pans, like 13 by 6s, whatever they are. the cake pan. He pulls out a cake pan and begins to bash me in my face. Before that incident happened, I had done gave a homeless guy like a few dollars at the gas station. That same homeless guy was the guy who called the police and had the guy arrested for jumping on me. When the police came, my face was split in half. You can see I still got the stitches from that incident, right? bleeding mercilessly all over the place. Didn't know if I was gonna make it. Phone broken, and police was like, "Who you want to call?" Now, mind you, it's like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Who do you want to call? Who can I call? I call my mom, and she meets me at the hospital. She consoles me. She takes me home. She tends to my stitches and my wounds. She doesn't ask any questions. And I know that has to be the scariest thing ever for her, having to deal with that. She never said nothing. Except for, I'm glad that you're home and I'm glad that you're safe. Can you imagine getting that phone call in the middle of the night? I don't know how many times she got a phone call in the middle of the night and thought it was one of those calls where it was like, your son is dead. And I know a lot of people judge moms, especially since I put my mom out there for putting me out the house when I was gay, but there are a lot of different ways to look at things, and only through love have I been able to see her side of the story and feel her side of the story. You know, all parents have unrealistic hopes and dreams for their children. Moms have it from the moment they know that something's growing in their womb. There's an instant, oh, I hope he'd be this. I can see me walking him down the aisle. This is my first son. Da 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 da. Football player, basketball player, president of the United States. My mama told me I could be anything I wanted to be. But she never had the idea that God would give her a gay son. That was nothing that she thought of. She didn't have anything against gay people. She had gay friends and everything. But she knew what they went through as gay people. She saw how people treated her gay friends. She saw how life treated her gay friend. AIDS was a big thing during her generation. It wasn't a living thing like it is now, like you can live with it, but HIV and AIDS was a death sentence back then, and I can see how she could not want that for her son, and having to deal with people who were just going around shooting people just because they were a certain way. It brought a lot of fear in her life for me as her son, because she didn't want me to go through life being called, already I'm black, so I'm already getting the N word a lot. Now I have to go through getting the F word, being called things, being shamed, being shunned out of society, and she didn't want me to go through those kind of things. You know what I mean? That was the love she had for me. She wanted to protect me from all of that. But the thing after we left, because it wasn't only her fault that I left out of the house, it was my fault too. I was doing a whole lot of things that, just was not normal for a child, and I was not behaving like a child. You know what I mean? I was acting like somebody who wanted to be an adult, and I wanted to really run away, and I wanted to be on my own independent because I thought I could make it. I thought I had everything figured out, so I was not making it easy for her. But when I called her, because when I ran away, all my friends were doing coke, and it's just started to tear the whole friendship apart. Everybody was fighting each other. The house was going down. We barely had anything to eat, and people were finding out things about themselves that, it's just, it was just a bad environment. So who did I call? I called the same lady who we agreed not to live together. I called her. One who I've done some child things too that weren't like a child, that were pretty bad. I called her, and she came and she picked me up, and she's all I can remember her saying is that because I love you, I can get past my hurt and my pain, because I love you, because God loves me, because God gave you me, because you are a gift, you are my gift. I remember her telling me she loved me. She took me to the HIV clinic to get me tested. I came back negative. You know what I mean? She never judged me, never looked back on it. We gained a relationship, and that's all love. Love, 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 love. She told me once I did, we were on Section 8 at the time, and she told me, she said, you know what, I'm going to pass, I'm going to take myself off the Section 8. I'm going to pass the Section 8 down to you all, but most importantly, the Section 8 would definitely always be yours, because since I did take you out of the house for a certain time and you did live on the street, I want to make sure that you never have to live that way again, live out on the street again. So she gave me her Section 8. She took herself off and she gave me her Section 8. And it's been a blessing to my life ever since that. I never had to worry about where I'm going to stay. Yeah, I did stay a few years out. And because God loves me, I never lived on a corner or lived on the street, because God showed me that much grace and mercy. He always kept me in a home, and kept me sheltered and kept me safe because of her prayers. Never have I seen the righteous forsaken or their seeds begging of bread. I wasn't having a relationship with God at that time. I wasn't, doing anything that would have him, even though I know he loves me unconditionally, because the fruit of her womb is blessed. I'm the fruit of her womb. I was blessed. And I was never forsaken. And I was never begging a bread, because my grandmother was a praying woman, because my mother was a praying woman, because they never stopped praying for me. I was blessed, and that's only through love. I am so thankful to that woman I call mom. I love you dearly. If you ever see this, there are countless stories I could tell. I remember, here's one funny one, because I gave so many sad ones. Here's one funny. One day I was out in drag. I was walking to the street, and this was early in my drag days, and I was walking up my block, and I saw my mom's coming around the corner, and I was like, oh shit, let me get home. So I'm running back home with heels on and a dress. I get in the house, I take everything off, and she pulls up. She was like, Quentin, that was you coming down the street? And I was like, dang, how you knew? Like, I was so far away. I was like on one block, she was on the other block. She was like, boy, I gave birth to them legs. I know them legs anywhere. I would never forget that. Like, and she taught me something. The lady who didn't like the gay, she taught me something. She said, you know how people can tell a drag from a real girl? She said, because drag queens are always looking down at their walk and at their feet, trying to figure out, am I walking like a girl? Am I walking like a girl? She said, real women don't think about it. They just walk. They just are. They just walk. So if you want to be seen as a real girl, don't think about it. Get out your head. Just be you. Just walk. And that's enough. Just be you. Yeah. My mom gave me drag advice. I love that lady. And if you are my friend, you love my mom too. She cooked for all my friends. I had to think, like, is it me that they're friends for, or is it my mom's cooking? Because all my friends love my mom. All my friends love my mom cooking. She loved me so much that she cooked for everybody. Everybody could stay over. Everybody could come hang. Everything was all cool. As long as I was okay, she was okay. We grown. People grow. People go through things. People have tough times. But as long as you grow, that's the important thing. No feelings are final. But I hope the feeling of love never leaves me. The feeling that I have for my mom, I hope it never leaves me. And I love you. Have a good night.